Hello there, welcome to this, my very first video tutorial using Serif's Craft Artist Platinum program. I believe it would work just the same in Serif's Digital Scrapbook Artist 2, DSA 2. I've recently become interested in making up my own word art frames, being inspired by the work of Barbara Gray of claritystamp.co.uk. I decided to see if I could translate the concept into something similar for digital crafting, and found that it's really quite straightforward and simple. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Iris, Truly Tango, on Serif's Daisy Trail forum for helping me a while back to crack the problem of getting some of my own fancier frames to work as intelligent frames in Craft Artist. The knowledge she shared then has proven useful here as well. So let's get started. These are examples of some of the word art frames that I've come up with. Tom Naviri, simple frame there. Likewise Yorkshire. The Scotland one is a little bit different insofar that it has the two frames, and likewise the Yorkshire Dales has two individual frames in there. They may look a little bit complicated, but it's really quite straightforward, as we're about to see. Words or phrases containing O's and D's are the best ones to use for frames. You might be able to get away with P's and Q's as well. You'd have to try it and see. For quickness, I've already typed out the words I'm going to make into the word art. You just select a font you like by playing around with various fonts and sizes until you get a combination that you like. As you can see, the O and the D's are quite big. These are 250 point. And you'll also note that the rest of it isn't all one word. They're in little portions, which allows us to play around with things. Now, if we wanted to, we could just group that together and make a frame of that just as it is. But I like the idea of the letters reflecting the rise and fall of the fells of the Dales, so we'll have a little play around with them. We can do this by using the edit points, and all we do there is just play around with them till you feel happy the way it looks. Pop the Y up there. Same with the Dales here. Let's just move that just a little bit. Okay, and when you're happy with how it looks, you can group the whole lot together, and we can drag that into the Frames tab over on the left. We'll just pop that one there out of the way for the moment, and we'll bring this on. And you think here we've got a working frame. So we'll pop a photo in, and it doesn't work. Why is that? This is where we find out. We go to the Layers tab, find our frame here, and expand it. You have the bitmap of the frame, and you have the polycurve here, this red squiggle. And a red squiggle is no good. This is where Iris's Truly Tango's workaround comes into play. To make this work, we need to delete that polycurve. Then we go to Shapes, select a shape, and draw a shape over what we want to do there. Give it a nice bright colour. Come down to Arrange at the bottom right here, and knock it back so it now lies on the layer directly below the text. Select the text and select the box, and now we go to Arrange on the top toolbar over the left here, hit Join and Subtract, which leaves us with this. These here are now going to form the basis of our new working polycurves, so we need to get rid of all this other, so we go to the Eraser tool and we start erasing everything we don't need. And it's best to do it in smallish things, so if you do knock something out like I did just a moment ago, you're not having to, you see there, you're not having to take out a huge amount. In fact, I think there's a bit gone there as well. I'm going to take this down a little bit more, just for around the edge here. And the same here. And once we've got that out of the way, we can go a bit bigger to get rid of some of this other stuff. And bigger still, or you could use a zoom at the bottom if you wanted to get rid of that there. There we go. These are now going to form the base of our new polycurves. So we go back to our frames tab, bring in the not properly working frame, pop that in place, get it lined up as much as we can. That looks about right. Go back to our layers tab. Here's our frame that we've just brought in. Here's the polycurve. Expand the frame. You've got your bitmap, the useless polycurve. We're going to drag our new one under the bitmap, and then we're going to delete that polycurve there. We're now going to take our newly formed frame back into the frames tab, get rid of the old one that didn't work, get rid of that, bring it in, and now we bring a photo in, it works. However, as you can see, the photo has gone into both of those apertures. That wouldn't work very well like that. Sometimes it does work. Now what's happened there? Okay. Took the wrong thing out. Now with this one, whoops, it's a photo I want to enlarge. You might actually find that that's quite attractive. However, if you want to make it work properly, let's remove that photo. What I found you can do is select your art, cut across with the scissors, select, drag that there, they're separated, back to our frames, in with the Yorkshire, in with the Dales. Get rid of these, bring that one back, and that one back. And now we can put individual photos in, move them around, and it works nice. This is the stage where I would also probably put an effect upon it, so want an effect on the frame, so we go to the bottom right here, select frame object, go into our effects for ready-made one. I like the green one there, same there. Alternatively, you can click on there and right click to open up your filter effects, and you can do your own thing. Now these can be sort of put on separately, or you can group them together to make your page. And there you have it. Now the Scotland one was slightly different, because you have your O and your D. You can see here that I've changed the font on this from Times New Roman to Jarrow. Kept the same sort of sizes because that works. But what we're going to do now is pretty much the same thing as we did before. We're going to group that bit, open the frames, put that into the frames, and we're going to put the D into the frame as well. We're going to bring that one out, and there we go. Now again, you can go back to your photos, and you can see that has actually accepted that straight off. We could put a different one in there, no problem. However, if you hit there, you can see all around here, I move the photo, look, again the polycurve is tracing the whole of that script rather than just being in the centre there. So again, we do exactly as we did before. Back to the layers, find our frame. Let's take the photo out first, it's easy to play with. Find our frame, delete the polycurve, it's not working. Back to our shapes, give it a deep colour, knock it back one, select the text, select your box, arrange, join, subtract, rub-a-dub-dub. Oops. Like I say, easier if you do little bits. Back to our frames, bring in the non-working one, go back to our frame here, bring that one up to there, delete the old polycurve, bring that back into here, bring our photo in again, and now you see the photo is just in that little area there. We can click that to put on our effects. I quite like granite effect. Not a granite in Scotland. Oops, there we go. Group it together, and you have your frame. This one here I just moved around a little bit, played with it, but you can see how it goes. So there we have it. I hope it all makes sense, and I hope that you find this little tutorial is useful. You can find a PDF copy of this video and more of examples of my work on my new crafting blog, karenscraftingnook.blogspot.com. Be nice to see you there. If you'd like to leave any comments, then that would be great. Thank you very much.